And so basically what we're talking about is at the end, you did a great presentation, everything went right. And then they say at the end, well, Jeremy, like I told you in the beginning, or maybe they didn't tell you in the beginning, maybe you failed as a rep to ask the right questions at the right time with the right tonality that did not allow the customer to lower their defenses, that did not allow the customer to be able to open up and trust you. So now they held this ace up their sleeve, and now they're pulling out the trump card at the very end and saying, well, Jeremy, sounds good. Can you send that quote to me on email? I got 2 other bids I'm collecting. How do you handle that? Sam Wakefield, again, you can go back and listen to his. It's pretty good. But I actually like Jeremy Miner's a little bit more on this one, actually quite a bit more, all right? Because the problem, if you go back and watch Sam Wakefield's training, he asks a lot of closed-ended questions, which, at this point, if you've developed enough trust, it's okay to ask those option closes, but typically I like to ask more open-ended questions. So what are you hoping to hear from these other companies? And they're going to tell you, well, we don't know. That's why we're calling. We're just going to look, see, better prices, better products, this or that. Sam Wakefield tries to steer them. He says, so I understand you want to look at, get other quotes from somebody else. Are you guys, I'm just curious, are you looking for just the best value for your money? Or are you looking to see if there's a better product or service out there? That's what he says. Jeremy leaves it more open-ended. He says, what are you hoping to, find, or what are you hoping to see when you talk to these other companies? What are you hoping that these other companies will say to you, right? And they'll say whatever their objection is. And then you'll say, yeah, that makes sense, or yeah, that's not a problem, or whatever, disarm. And then you'll want to ask, I like Jeremy Miner's question from here, is he goes, well, like, what happens if you go out there and collect the 3 different bids and all the products basically get you about the same result or meet all of your criteria you're looking for, including price, and price is all about the same. Like, if everything else is the same, how are you going to make your decision on who to hire from there? And it gets them really thinking, right? You're challenging them. You're basically saying, okay, let's say you go out, get 3 quotes, you don't know what to look for, and then let's say you pick the right 3 companies. The other thing I liked asking when I was in it was like, there's all these different companies out there. Why only collect 3 bids? Well, that's just how we do things. Well, how do you know you picked the top 3 companies? What if you only collect 3 bids and they're all basically the same product, and you don't know that, the 5th or the 10th one or the 20th one might have shown you a better product or a better price or something like that? How do you know you picked the right 3 companies is basically the question. Again, instilling doubt into their thinking process, reframing them. And then once you get down to the price, figure out what the objection is. Maybe it's the price. At that point, Sam Wakefield would talk about the price protection guarantee. Before I go into the price protection guarantee, it's basically a money objection. So I'm going to funnel it back to the money objection. I'm going to get them, if it comes down to money, it's either going to be a logistical or it's going to be a fear base. And if it gets back to a fear base, let's say there's other products that are cheaper than us and you decide to go with them. Is it going to be one of these other products that you're like, would you ever consider putting this product up? Like the little wire mesh thing. Do you feel, I like to ask this question a lot when I'm comparing cheaper products, when they say, well, there's cheaper products out there, right? Or like in the very beginning, when I say, hey, our average sale is 3 to 5 or 5 to 9K. And they go, well, if it's 5 to 9K, you can pack your stuff and leave. I say, okay, yeah, that's not a problem. I'll be happy to do that. I just need to, can you do me a favor? Come back to my car with me real quick. I just need to give you something real quick. And then I pull out the products. I say, on a project like this, you could probably get this type of product. This is like the cheapest product. I ask them, hope, think, expect, 3-tier price bump. How much were you hoping this was going to be? I don't know. Well, if you really thought about it, how much were you really, before I came out here, I know you didn't know how much it was going to cost, but how much were you hoping it was going to? Well, I was hoping it was $2 or $3 grand. I'd always say to them, I'd say, at least you're fairly reasonable. Like $2 to $3 grand, you can get products in that price range like this, and I'll show them the product, and I'll say, but do you feel and I'll say it nice and slow, and I'll listen to my tone and the pacing and how I use the word feel, not think. Do you feel like this product would be able to keep all the leaves and debris and like shingle grit and all that stuff from getting into your gutter and clogging your gutter? And they'd say, well, no, or whatever. Usually they say no. Okay, so like, let's say you spent $2,000 or $3,000 on this, and like about 25% of the customers that call us out, they already had this product installed, and 4 or 5, 6 years later, it's already clogged. How would you feel if you had invested $2,000 or $3,000 into this, and a couple years later, it's clogged again? How would you feel about your decision to go with this product? Well, I'd feel like it was a waste of money. I never want to say what I want to say. I always want to think about, how can I get the prospect to say what I want to say right now? I want to say, for $2,000 or $3,000, if this doesn't keep the leaves and debris from getting in your gutters, then it's a complete waste of money. I don't want to say that. I want to say, do you feel like this would keep all the leaves and debris from getting in your gutters? No. Again, happy ears. Well, why do you feel like it? Why do you think it wouldn't, though? Well, because the holes are so big, it's going to get all the leaves and debris, right? So how would you feel if you, invested $2,000 or $3,000 and then 4 or 5 years later, it just gets clogged again? Like, how would you feel at that point? Well, I would feel like it was a waste of money. I asked the questions with the tonality and the pacing and the wording, neutral language, to get them to say what I wanted them to say. Right. And I throw that away. And I say, now this one's a little more expensive. It's a better product because the holes are smaller, right? That's why the other product wasn't good. But like, can you see, do you feel like this would keep all the leaves and junk from getting in your gutters? Well, yeah, I could. Right. It would do a better job because the holes are smaller, right? But then, like, I drop the pen, right? Drop the pencil into the leaf relief, and I shake the tray around, and it's got ridges on both sides. And I say, now this is about $4,000 or $5,000, but like, and it does a good job of keeping the leaves and debris from getting in your gutters. But what happens when all the leaves and debris pile up on top of this? What do you think's going to happen then? Well, it's going to get clogged, right? And again, how would you feel if you invested $4,000 or $5,000 into this and it didn't get you the results? And he goes, all right, I see your point. Look, and then I show him my product. And I'll say, leaf filter. Look, I say, leaf filter's not perfect. This is one I got from Adam Putt in Harrisburg, Virginia. I said, our product's not perfect. Like, if you're looking for the perfect gutter protection product, like, you might as well just give up. So, I mean, like I said, product's not perfect, but can you see why Consumer Reports and pretty much everybody and their brother says that this is the number 1 rated product out there? Yeah, okay. So would you like me to go ahead and, measure up and do an inspection, give you a quote and all that stuff? Okay. All right. So that's pretty much how you handle that. I may have gone on to a little bit of a rant there and digressed a little bit, but that's basically everything I have to go over for you here today. So the last thing I'm going to say is, if you got some value out of this, send me a message and let me know. If you made some, extra money off of this, let me know. Send me a little testimonial for you. And then if you want to have a discussion about, how we might help you be able to make even more money with the coaching programs, like I said, I've got a group of leaf filter guys and other home improvement guys that we get together every Monday through Friday morning at 9 a.m. to 9 a.m. Eastern. Okay. So you California guys, you West Coast guys, I'm sorry. It's called a boot camp for a reason.